a fun day to be a Spurs fan, Joe.
The chat. There we go. We got the chat going.
Chat is open, dude. God. What do we give them? 5 cents on the dollar? 10 cents on the dollar?
We got them for a bag of chips, man. HEB, not even HEB. Hill Country Fair bag of chips.
Man.
And Hill Country Fair soda. A half-eaten snack.
You know, but the math isn't there, man. Everyone's all excited about all the Spurs that are still on this team that we kept. I know that we're all like, we have all these different players and we kept everybody. Dude, this is only the first move.
They still need to address a big. They need a true big.
They need to get rid of Devin Vassell.
You know what's funny? I was looking at the X right last night, and people were using my phrase, and I thought it was funny. They go, "What's his name? Gone."
That's funny. The audio went a little bit low.
It should still be on. I haven't done nothing. Can you hear yourself talk?
Not yet. There you go. Nope. Uh-oh, technical difficulties. There you go. I got you down. Hello, hello. There you go. I won't move anything.
We got 22 seconds left.
You already sent James the StreamYard, right?
Yeah, it's not StreamYard we use Talk Studio.
All right, but did you?
Yeah, I sent it to him I sent it to him via X.
Just let me know when he pops
DM.
on. When he pops on, he pops on.
Welcome to another episode of the Area 210 podcast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast to you live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your host as it helps the show grow.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Area 210 podcast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio, the home of one De'Aaron Fox. That's right. It finally happened. It actually happened, Joe. We went out and got De'Aaron Fox. We fleeced the Sacramento Kings. Brian Wright, GM of the Spurs, was not familiar with your game, sir.
Yeah.
We need to get that apology form. We like to say we're sorry. Our bad, lo siento, whatever, however you want to say it. What a great day to be a Spurs fan, because we were talking about this all last week, right? The Spurs, the rumors about De'Aaron Fox wanting to leave Sacramento.
Yeah.
And those rumors were started by the media in Sacramento. And we talked about it last week as well. De'Aaron Fox's wife is from the Alamo City.
That she is.
So this was a great thing. And Shams Charania kind of got in on the mix from the ESPN, and all of a sudden we see Luka Doncic getting traded. We're like, wait a minute, dominoes are starting to fall.
Yeah,
They're starting to fall. And then it's like, okay, well, who are the Spurs going to lose? Because then we hear that they're about to finalize this trade. So as Spurs fans, we're chewing our nails, right, or biting our fingernails. And we're like, oh my God, who are we going to leave? Are we going to lose Stephon Castle, right? Potentially the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Are we going to lose Jeremy Sohan? Are we going to lose Vassell? Keldon Johnson. Dude, Keldon Johnson, after the win against the Bucks the other day, he had a big game. Spurs got that victory. Kicked the Bucks' ass. He sounded dejected on the podium. He sounded depressed.
I don't know why. Because you know what? When the Spurs won that game against the Bucks, what did
Yeah.
I tell you? Man, they played this game like someone's getting traded.
Exactly. They felt it. They knew it. They knew it was going on, right? So they're like, which one of us is going to leave?
Yeah.
Which one is it 2 of us, 3 of us? Joe, if you and I could have drawn up a trade proposal, one of those BS trade proposals that you put up on the ESPN trade machine to see if it actually works, we would have drawn it up this way.
Yeah.
Okay. In a perfect world, In a perfect world, we would have gotten rid of Zach Collins. Why? Because he sucks ass.
Booty crumbs, bro.
Worst contract the Spurs have had in years. The Spurs had him on the hook next year for over $16 million. What is he now, Joe?
Gone.
Gone.
Yep.
Trey Jones wasn't going to be on this team anyway.
Oh, no, dude. He was awful.
Wasn't going to be on this team anyway. Where is he at? Gone. That 2025 first-round draft pick that we got from Charlotte, which was never going to convey. Gone. That Bulls pick this year. Gone. But guess what? We already got one. We have our pick. We have Atlanta's pick.
We got Pledge on the line,
and we've got our good friend James
But
Pledger.
we also have an incoming $5 super
Let's do
chat.
the super chat first. Okay, now this is a special super chat right here. This is a special grito that we're going to do. Tex-Mex Frank with a $5 super chat saying, Buenos dias, gentlemen. Un puro pinche Spurs grito. This one is being poured out to Zach Collins. It was nice knowing you, but you and your nice hair got to get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
That is being poured out for City Sissoko. It is being poured out for, oh my God, Booty Crumbs is gone. Zach Collins. It is being poured out for Trey Jones. And I'm looking this morning, Dan Lebitard show. They're saying everyone's talking about in NBA circles about the trade involving Luka Doncic going to the Lakers. Dan Lebitard, who I love, from South Beach, Florida, right? Coming out and saying that the most important trade made this weekend was the one involving De'Aaron Fox. Wemby is Batman. He finally got his Robin. And I'm joined now by one of my good friends, one of my best friends, James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star. He's the host of Extra Innings Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 on 94.1 San Antonio
We love
Sports
us
Star.
some Pledger, man. You know what I love about Pledger the most? Somebody was saying that they didn't care for Pledger because of his, I guess, appearance on Los or whatever. I'm like, how can you not love Pledger? For one, he's a great guy. Great hell of a guy. Two, I love that Pledger comes on this show on a regular and calls you a moron.
I
I'm like,
know.
why can't you love Pledge?
Well, the good thing is, Pledge, good morning, man. Oh, okay. So no. So last night I had a long car drive. Went to go see Chica and Conroe. Drove all the way back to San Antonio. It's about 11 o'clock at night, and I'm talking to Pledge. And I wish sometimes people could hear our conversations, Pledge, because we talk sports like it's sports talk radio, even though we're just on a car ride. You're driving home. I'm driving home. But Pledge, give this a letter grade. What did Brian Wright do in fleecing the Sacramento Kings? Is this a perfect? Did he stick the landing? Give it a letter grade.
I said this on the Locked On Spurs. It's an A+. It's a home run. It's a grand slam. It's whatever superlative adjective you want to use, right? It's the best thing that could possibly happen. You didn't give up any assets of any real tangible value that you held here. Whether it was Vassell or Keldon or Sohan or whoever it may have been that you really truly wanted to hold on to, whether it's a fan or whoever else. Then you kept both Atlanta picks and the swaps. I mean, you only gave up really your own in 2027, and by then you should be a really good team. So that should be a later first-round pick. And I guess the most tangible thing you gave up was the trade that everybody killed Brian Wright for this offseason when he traded away the 7th overall pick when you had a chance to draft Rob Dillingham.
Right.
And got that 2030 and 2031 pick swap and top one protected pick from Minnesota. That's the most tangible thing that went out in this trade. Sacramento didn't even get their own pick back from San Antonio.
So let's break it down. The Spurs got De'Aaron Fox. They got a sharpshooter named Jordan McLaughlin that we'll talk about later on. We gave up City Sissoko. We gave up Trey Jones and Zach Collins. But the thing about it, Zach Collins, that was an awful contract. We unloaded an awful contract on top of getting De'Aaron Fox. Trey Jones was going to be a free agent at the end of this year anyway. His days were numbered. He was dead man walking on this team. He was gone, okay? City Sissoko, nice piece, but he was a second rounder for a reason, right? We gave up 3 first-round picks, but they're not really 3 first-rounders because the Charlotte pick is never going to convey. That's going to be 2 second-rounders. So we gave up 2 first-rounders, right? That 2031 you mentioned from Minnesota. We give up our 2027, which if we're a good team is going to be a one in the 20s. As you said, we hold on to Atlanta's 2025. We hold on to Atlanta's swap in 26. We hold on to the 2027 pick from Atlanta Hawks, all of it unprotected. We have swaps with Boston. We have swaps with Sacramento. We have so much going on with this franchise. Dallas as well down the road. You know, I asked you this question yesterday on the drive home, just to kind of let you in on the conversation that we had. Is Brian Wright good or is he lucky?
It's every GM is both, right? Any good GM needs some luck along the way. It doesn't negate the fact that, you know, getting lucky and landing the number 1 overall pick to draft a Victor Wembanyama, like that's a no-brainer move, but he did it. But he did all the ancillary things to also help put this trade on the table. He went and got that pick by trading the 7th overall or the 7th overall pick this year to get that unprotected in 2031 from Minnesota, which helped kind of put this trade together. He did the DeJounte Murray trade, which I believe somebody on this program crushed him, saying that Brian Wright got fleeced for DeJounte Murray in that trade, and those picks were never going to convey, at least not the way they wanted them to. I can't forget who it was. Menace.
Well, you know what? It's funny because the answer is I was right and wrong when it comes.
No, you were wrong.
That's Charlotte.
It's okay to say you're wrong. You don't have to caveat anything.
The Charlotte picks,
Get him pledged.
The Charlotte picks ended up being 2 second-rounders, right? That was never going to convey, right?
Okay.
But it's a lot of luck that comes along the way. You know, you see Johnson go down with an injury for Atlanta, and then almost they're sinking like a lead balloon.
But
if you want to say that I'm wrong, fine. Remember the drop
to be worth.
Remember the audio drop pledge? I was wrong.
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to hear?
It is, actually.
Okay. So talking to James Pledger, San Antonio sports star, we're celebrating as Spurs fans. Now here's the thing, Pledge.
And you should.
I say this all the time. You need a superstar to put your team on the map. You need a second all-star to be relevant. You need a third star to be a contender.
I don't think that's the case anymore in the NBA. I mean, look around the league. How many all-stars, superstars are in Cleveland? How many outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are in Oklahoma City? What about I mean, if you look at the
how many titles have they won?
Huh?
How many titles have those teams won?
Yeah, we're trying to get to competing for titles.
You can
but
get
those are the top teams in each conference right now. And you have to be one of those teams to have any kind of relevance in the league.
Right, but I'm looking at the last 10 years, last 15 years of title winners.
Okay, you sound like Cowboy fan, man.
Boston Celtics. No. We are now poised to be the run.
I thought you were a Saints fan. Shouldn't you be hiding emails from the FBI about little boys in the church?
Team Kellen Moore. But here's the thing. You know, you're right. 2 superstars or 2 all-stars will get you 50 wins, will get you into the second round of the playoffs, but there's that one more oomph that needs to get you on over. And let me
put it to you like this then. Would you bet against Oklahoma City? Because it's always been a process for all these teams. Look at what Denver had to do. They didn't go add a bunch of superstars. They grew their own 2, and they finally broke through and won a title. Like, it's a process, and we know that it's a process to learn to go through playoff battles.
I'm not complaining. What I'm saying is that it's not a finished product, and you and I were talking about that yesterday.
No, it's not a finished product. I never said this was a finished product.
The one that we were talking about, the one that sticks out like a sore thumb is this. Okay, so we have to do the Brian Windhorse, right? We have to do the Brian Windhorse here. What's going to happen at the end of next year, right? End of next year, De'Aaron Fox is going to be a free agent, right? He's going to command about $50 million a year.
He's getting an extension in 6 months.
That's the point I'm trying to make, though, that we're going to re-sign him, right? And then Wemby is going to be due the following year, right?
And then Stephon Castle after that.
And then Castle after that. So
and he's going to make an All-NBA defensive team as a rookie, which is going to make him eligible for a rookie max, just like Wemby.
So the Brian Windhorst action, we got to put it all together, basically states that there's only so much money to go around. The Spurs did a fantastic job of getting rid of Zach Collins because that was an awful contract. But you look at it, the one that sticks out like a sore thumb is Devin Vassell.
$30 million.
$30 million a year until the year 2029. There's no way in the world, especially the way the Spurs do their math and luxury tax and all that, there's no way in the world that they're going to be able to offer an extension to De'Aaron Fox, offer the max to Wemby, and give what Castle deserves and keep Devin Vassell.
Well, how are they going to keep Sohan? I was told he's the savior of this team.
Well, Sohan's going to have to be at a price point that is a lot lower.
Sohan ain't getting a max extension.
Yeah,
exactly.
He ain't getting 25, 30 million.
Hey, we do got a $5 incoming super chat. We got two that we need to address. One of them is coming from Tavarius. He's saying, "Great job, guys." And we're going to make it rain here for him. He says, "Great negotiator as far as Brian Wright goes. He's just still terrible at drafting, scouting, and player development," is what he's saying.
Well, the player development's been an interesting thing because that's about coaching. Chip England's gone, and the Spurs have not been the same shooting wise since Chip England's been gone.
And look at $5.
Try to catch the money there.
Yeah, we got a $5
Drew show coming in from the Woodlands saying, "Make no mistake, this is just the first episode of Spurs Bachelor. Zach, City, and Trey did not get the rose and had to get the bags packed." Is there one more trade locked and loaded in the chamber? Because I don't doubt it. We talked about this last week, Pledge. Here's the thing. We talk about how Brian Wright doesn't do anything when it comes to like trades. He doesn't go out and get players, but he's been getting picks. Thad Young, we got something for. DeMar DeRozan, we got something for. We got some for DeJounte Murray. We got some for a lot of players. Jakob Poeltl, we flipped for picks, and eventually he finally did something. That was the whole thing about it was you've got the ammunition, now fire the damn gun. And he finally did. And he did it at a time when all the leverage was with the Spurs because the Rich Paul coming out and saying, the agent for De'Aaron Fox saying that he wants out, that we have a destination that we want to go to, and oh, by the way, De'Aaron Fox's wife and family's from San Antonio. It like all the stars aligned. As a Spurs fan, I've never seen something like this happen.
No, I mean, this is the biggest acquisition via trade in probably Spurs history. I mean, you can make an argument one of their biggest acquisitions in free agency was, having LaMarcus Aldridge choose us. But this feels even bigger than that because LaMarcus Aldridge was in his 30s by the time he joined and was coming in to kind of the end of his peak and beginning of the twilight of his career. With De'Aaron Fox, you're getting a guy who's 25 years old, coming into his prime, who can literally grow with Wemby for the next 5 to 10 years and create something very, very special in San Antonio.
I wanted to talk to you, Pledge, real quick, because Mike was saying, Spurs need a third superstar. How do we know we don't have that now in Stephon Castle?
That's true. I mean,
Stephon Castle, you have Wemby, and now you have Fox. That's a trifecta, man.
Yeah, and Steph Castle, I said coming out in the draft that, I think, and this is a caveat because most NBA players don't reach their ceiling of who they actually probably could be. But when you look at his game, the way he plays, he's got a lot of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to his game. Very explosive, high-flying, can score at kind of 2 levels right now. He's working on that 3rd level at the 3, but he could, if everything worked out for him, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is an MVP caliber player.
Yep.
So that's what he ultimately could be. Maybe he peaks at De'Aaron Fox. Maybe he hits his ceiling even faster. But, I mean, there is a good chance that Stephon Castle could continue to develop into that 3rd star that this team needs. But right now, even where he's at, he is a immeasurable asset to the Spurs, and you can tell defensively by how this team plays and is splits with Wemby on the court and with Wemby off the court and how good those two play together.
joined by James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star. He's the host of Extra Innings 6 to 7 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Now, a lot of Spurs fans aren't familiar with De'Aaron Fox or his game, okay? Because De'Aaron Fox, he's a one-time All-Star. This year has played 45 games, averages 25 points per game. Okay, that's the same number of points that Wemby averages, right? 25 points per game, 6.1 assists, 5 rebounds, shoots 83% from the free throw line. Not the best three-point shooter, but he's not god-awful. 33% for his career, 33.3%. Nickname of Swipa, okay? Swipa, no swiping, Dora the Explorer style, because if you look at it, we lost Pledge there.
Yeah, he'll come back.
If you look at it, De'Aaron Fox led the league in steals last year. So you have the league leader in steals. You have Stephon Castle and his defense. You've got Sohan back there. You've got Wemby back there. I mean, that is a lot of defensive ability that you have with the Spurs roster right now. De'Aaron Fox leading the league in steals last season.
Yeah. Hey, we have a $5 super chat.
And he led with defensive rating last year, too, amongst guards. So
before we get to the super chat,
the narrative that De'Aaron Fox is not a good defender is a false narrative.
Before we get to that, by the way, we had this conversation yesterday about how, he was an MVP in the 2022-2023 season, right? But you look at the number of points that this guy has averaged through his career, right? As a rookie, 11.6, then it went to 17, and then it went to 21. And for the last 5 seasons in a row, more than 25 points per game. He averaged nearly 27 last year and didn't make the All-Star team because he's behind Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic. Like there's a glut of point guards and shooting guards that are in the All-Star team in the West. Had this dude been on the East Coast, if De'Aaron Fox played for the New York Knicks, Chicago Bulls, Atlanta Hawks, Miami Heat, he'd be a star. But he played for 7 seasons in the middle of nowhere, 7.5 seasons in the middle of nowhere, due to just 27 years old. The number 5 overall pick back in the 2016 draft. And on top of that, he's from Texas, man. He went to high school in Katy, Texas. His wife went to high school at Johnson High School here in San Antonio. This guy's a stud. And now we're going to see these are horses galloping down the court now.
The problem is you still have 2 glaring holes on this roster. So those have to be fixed if you want to be taken as a legitimate contender in the Western Conference or even a threat. And they're arguably 2 of the biggest holes that this team has. One of them, you mentioned the big. You need a big that can protect Victor Wembanyama. You need protection and help when he's off the court. Right now, your backup bigs are Bassey, Sohan, and Mamu. That's not a good, competent NBA backcourt in terms, or front court in terms of the ability to bang with guys like Zubac or Embiid, or because when Wemby goes off the floor, things change. And if Wemby gets in foul trouble, things change. Or if Wemby gets worn down because these guys are attacking him down low as much as they can to try and wear him out. And we've seen that. The one thing De'Aaron Fox does do is, much like against Miami, where CP3 scored the only 5 points over the final 5:15 of that game, you've got another threat to score at will and take a game into his hands, even if Victor Wembanyama is not there. So De'Aaron Fox helps with that issue, but you still have the big issue and the ability to protect Wemby and protect the team when he's not on the floor. The other thing you're sorely missing is floor spacing. And I don't care where that floor spacing comes from. If it comes from Harrison Barnes, Julian Champagnie, and those are probably your 2 best 3-point shooters on the team right now. Devin Vassell is way too streaky, 1 for 10 against the Heat. He's better off the dribble than he is spotting up. You need guys that can space the floor the way, like Luke Kennard, who killed you a few nights ago when Memphis was here. You need those kind of shooters whose job is to basically sit out there and snipe, because the best way to build around Fox, who's going to attack the paint, and Wemby, who can do it from inside and out and command so much attention, is to have people surrounding him that can shoot. We've seen that with guys like LeBron James. Like when he built his teams that won championships, whether it was in Miami, whether it was in Cleveland, whether it was the first one he won in the bubble in LA, like those guys all had shooters, Mike Millers and Boobie Gibson, and like they had guys to space the floor that could play off of them and just catch and shoot open threes. The Spurs don't have that in their bag right now on this roster, and they need some of those guys. So if they're going to make a move again before the trade deadline, those are two vital positions I would look for, more so than any other type of star player.
We have a super chat coming in from Mario Cavazos, $5, saying, we got swiper, no swiping. Ding dong, Booty Crumbs is gone. We're on our way back, baby. Go Spurs, go.
Didn't even know it.
Okay, he paid for the Grito. We got to give him the Grito. Let's stand by.
Por presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
Yeah, baby. We Grito, baby. People pay $5-10 to hear the Grito. We got to do it, baby. And he's superimposed there into Market Square. Joined by James Pledger, San Antonio Sports Star. I'm looking at De'Aaron Fox's salary for next year, $37 million next year. Kind of feel like we got him half off, right? Because we gave up Zach Collins.
Yeah, I mean,
Zach Collins is half of that contract.
There could be a trade kicker. Bobby Barks talked about there's something that could inflate his deal to somewhere around 47, I think it is. I'm not sure exactly how that would work, if it was waived, if it'll be accelerated, but there is the opportunity for De'Aaron to make up some of the money he may miss out on by not being able to sign with his bird rights team.
I have a question for Pledge real quick, and for you.
Yeah.
You both said something that I think is the elephant in the room, addressing the big issue that the Spurs have. And they're like, well, they lost Zach Collins.
Technically, I think that's the secondary issue.
Yeah, but the thing is like they were saying, they lost Zach Collins. You know, Zach Collins was $16 million sitting on the bench. He had kind of played himself out of favor because he's just not a very good center. He's not very consistent. And the thing is, you have Bassey, you have Jeremy Sohan. Jeremy Sohan's too undersized to be playing a true center. I think the savior of the team, as far as the big is concerned, could be a revisit of somebody who's left and did a decent enough job while they were here. If I was the Spurs, I would really consider a second look at one Jakob Poeltl. He's familiar with the system. He can play the center position. He can live in the paint, and he can also help Wemby. I think he would be a good fit again for this team. What do you think, Pledge?
It all comes down to cost. I mean, the Spurs are going to be looking and analyzing cost versus, because you see the rumors about Jonas Valanciunas and costing 2 second-rounders. If Poeltl costs you a first or more, because it looks like Toronto's really trying to extract the most value out of him, well, Jonas Valanciunas obviously becomes a much more palatable take on when you're talking about a couple of second-round picks versus maybe a first or two. You need to possibly inquire, now that Chicago may be blowing it up, about Jonas Valanciunas, or Vucevic. There is the potential that he is a guy that you can not only get as a big to help, but also can space the floor. So there is a kind of double whammy aspect to that one. And maybe you check in on the cost of that. I've seen Nick Claxton available. I have seen other names floating around the NBA right now, Robert Williams. There are different bigs with different skill sets that can all provide at least one of the things that the Spurs are missing out of their big. I've seen Mo Bamba, who was just Wave's name, kind of bandied about. Mo Bamba doesn't give you what you're looking for. You know, he doesn't give you the actual physical nature down low that you may need in certain situations to avoid getting bullied. So I would say no to Mo Bamba, but if they bring him on, okay, you're trying to replicate Wemby when Wemby's not on the floor with, great value brand Wemby.
I'm a big fan of Nick Claxton, but his contract runs till 2028, and he's making about $27 million a year. Jakob Poeltl's at $19 million a year. So if you're going to go after a big like that, you've got to send out some salary. And I'm going to tell you this, Pledge. I'm going to ask you a quick question here.
Mm-hmm.
The trade deadline is 3 days from now. If you had to predict the one Spur that is going to be traded between now and the trade deadline, if they were to pull off another trade, because I have the name locked and loaded on my end over here, I believe that Chris Paul is going to be traded.
Okay.
A, no longer needed. B, it's the last year potentially of his career. May want to go to a playoff contender. I think that he's also an expiring deal, which might make it attractive for another team to assume. I tweeted out there, Pledge, last week, why is Trey Jones not being considered as a trade bait? And Trey Jones was part of this. I was like, hey, that's a $10 million, free cap space that you can send out there for Trey Jones. And he was the one ultimately that was gone.
You throw all 15 names on the roster out every week, you're bound to hit on one.
No, I hit that one on the head, baby. I hit that one on the head. I even got I even have the tweet that I can retweet on that. But let me ask you this, though. If you had to predict one Spur that would be, favorite word, Joe?
Gone
by Thursday, if the Spurs were to pull another trade, who would that player be?
I mean, it depends with the player you're getting in return, really, right? If you're bringing on a hefty salary, you're going to have to send out a hefty contract in return to help kind of make salaries match. And that could mean Keldon or Devin are not free and clear right now. It's going to be very interesting to kind of see what they're actually chasing and the thing that they're trying to augment the most right now to help this roster out, whether that's a big or, in my opinion, I think floor spacing is the biggest detriment on this team right now, because you can get away without a big at times and do what they're doing with Mamu and everything. But this team goes through too many cold slumps from the outside, and the offense becomes very stagnant late in games at times, or when they go through droughts to where these other teams can just erase 22-point leads like that on them. And I think part of that is their outside shooting needs to be fixed. Their floor spacing needs to be fixed, because we've seen certain players have just packed the paint against the Spurs and dared them to shoot at times. But when they're hitting, it's great. It looks like that game against the Pacers, the first one. When they're not, it looks like that second game against the Pacers.
It's so funny because, you talk about shooting woes and not being able to knock down three. We haven't had somebody who can attack the paint as a point guard like that since prime Tony Parker.
Yeah.
People don't understand.
Fox is going to do a great job with that, but the complement of that is they can take the paint away by packing it. What you need is players that can competently hit open shots that makes it harder for them to pack the paint and have to respect those shooters, which opens things for De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama down low.
Yeah, we got two $5 super chats we need to address. One of them is coming from the Drew Show here. Sorry, we're trying to get to everything as fast as we can.
Says, this doesn't mean that Keldon, Sohan, Devin, or your favorite bachelor is safe. Who will get the next rose? And who will be the one shown the door? Stay tuned. That's the thing, is that we talked about this already. Vassell seems to be dead man walking. I mean, the math just works out that way, man. It just works out that way. If you want to have an extension to De'Aaron Fox, if you want to sign Wemby to the max deal and have Castle to whatever deal he's going to be qualifying for down the road, you got to get rid of certain players, because the Spurs aren't going to drift into this luxury tax and in various aprons and things like that. it's just that's not the Spurs way. The Spurs are a small market team, whether we like it or not. And
they may pay for like that first apron to their competitive team, like we saw in the past, but they're not gonna do things that Phoenix and
the Celtics do. They're not gonna. They're not gonna go beyond all that. And we have a €6 from Garrett from the Netherlands, saying, quote, "The trade is great, but with all the assets that we still have, do we expect another trade?"
I hope so.
I hope so. I hope so too. Now,
what name do you want to see most?
Valanciunas. I mean,
so you want the big?
Yeah, I want the big. I think if we have the big out there, the shooting will take care of itself.
You know what I think is funny sometimes?
Cam Johnson or Bogdanovich, man, just go get me some shooters. Get me a floor spacer. Get me somebody that can help bring people out of the paint.
I'm a Bogdanovich guy, dude. I understand. We need a sniper, but at some point I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself,
just need a guy knock down a three.
After seeing homeboy from the Zubac go off for 13 offensive rebounds and put up a 20-20 game against the Spurs the other day.
Yeah.
And Sohan went 31 minutes of playing time without a rebound. I kind of want a guy down low getting some boards, dude.
What I think is funny sometimes is that Spurs fans fail to realize that you don't need a lot of superstars on the team. You need guys that can actually play their roles well. And what I mean by that, if we look and see what happened in years past when the Spurs were going on their championship runs, they had guys on the team that were just role players, play their jobs very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
And you need that to kind of round out the team. Case in point, look at what happened with some of our centers in the past. You had Tiago Splitter, Fabricio Alberto. You had Will Perdue, Rasho Nesterovic. And these guys weren't like bona fide superstars by any means, but they played their positions well. And that's what the Spurs are needing. They're just needing those pieces.
And that's why I think one of the biggest benefactors of De'Aaron Fox coming to the Spurs is Jeremy Sohan. The experiment of him, let's go have him play point guard. Let's go have him do this, that, and the other. Let's have him shoot 5 threes per game. That is all over, right? That is all over. And I think that Sohan's going to benefit from this by being able to concentrate on what he does best, which is play defense, hopefully get some boards, and be a pest.
Yeah, we also have another $2 super chat incoming here from Tavarius. Thank you again. We appreciate everybody's support.
What is the starting lineup? Does Chris Paul get shown the bench? I mean, do you do that? Harrison Barnes is going to start. We know that. We know that Wemby's going to start. But then there's and then we know Fox is going to start, right? So that's 3 right there. So now we have Sohan, Castle, CP3, Vassell. Wait a minute. 2 of them have to come off the bench. That's why I think CP3 is gone. Pledge, what do you think?
Gone as in off the team or gone as in coming off the bench?
Well, either or, but I think he's going to be, because I would not want to have CP3 playing alongside De'Aaron Fox, because I want the young guys out there now. It's like, thank you for teaching.
We know you're an ageist.
Big time. Big time. Boomers be gone. But you look at the standings right now, Pledge. Spurs are sitting there at 21-25. They all
Who are your other 2 starters? You breeze past the super chat.
Okay, so I would say that if I was running the team right now, I would have De'Aaron Fox, Castle, Vassell, Barnes, Wemby. Play small ball.
See, I'm going with, and this is what I want, not what I think, because I think Chris Paul continues to start at least in the short term. I think there's a transition at some point for him to the bench. I don't think it's instantly. I think the best potential lineup for this team, and we saw it early in the year, Devin Vassell coming off the bench. Like Devin Vassell with Sohan and Keldon, and let those guys kind of be your second unit with CP3 would be awesome. If you could start a lineup that has Fox and Castle and Harrison Barnes and Wemby, and I think the third starter, I think it's Julian Champagnie, at least in the interim, because you don't need 5 guys that all need the ball in their hands. You need guys that know their role and can play without the ball in their hands and do what they're supposed to do, which he's supposed to sit out there and just shoot threes if he's open. I think that's his best role. Like Devin Vassell being a sniper isn't his best role. He is better off the dribble than he is as a spot up shooter. So why not have him lead that second unit off the bench and be that guy that, that Keldon's been for the most part? Go attack. And we saw it work early in the season when he was coming back from that injury at first. He came off the bench and it worked really well. And you got Castle in the starting lineup who doesn't need the ball in his hands at this point in time. You compound that with Barnes and Sohan, and then you let Fox and Wemby do their thing.
Hey, Pledge, I got to bring this up, man, because, we like to keep Michael honest on the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Drew Show brings up something, and he says, Mike is so desperate to say that the trade or the signing of CP3 was a punt. He's
punt of the
coming up
season.
with kind of fan fiction to justify it. CP3 trade. Remember when he said that, Pledge? You said it was
a punt on the season. I was on that day.
It was a punt on getting a star player.
Oh, now he's moving the goalpost.
Oh my goodness!
Doesn't he always?
That is James Pledger, who says he wants to see more of Champagny. Champagny's finally starting to shoot a little bit better, 2 of 5 in back-to-back games from 3. He struggled there for a while in the early parts of January, but when he was starting earlier in the season,
every shooter goes through a slump at some point.
Yeah, but who never goes through a slump? James Pledger. He always fires on all cylinders. Want to thank you for being here. Your show's 6 to 7 o'clock on San Antonio Sports Star Extra Innings. What do you guys got going on this week? Radio Row.
You know what it is. It is De'Aaron Fox is a sperm Radio Row all week long, man. It is going to be freaking crazy. So it is going to be a fun time. What a time to be alive right now. Are you mad that Austin gets to see De'Aaron Fox before us?
Oh no, no! And Jason Garcia on our chat powered by MCS General Contracting says, "Hello, James, you sexy MFer." Like gotta say it like Prince, you sexy motherfucker.
I mean, you're aware, Austin gets De'Aaron Fox before we do. We're gone until March.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's James Pledger from San Antonio Sports Star. Thank you for being on, and thank you for putting up with me for 5 years running. Again, as you said to me the first time you met me when I did my audition for Rock the Mic.
I've heard worse.
Oh, God.
Literally the first words he ever said to me in my entire life.
I've heard worse.
That is Pledge, 6 to 7, San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM.
Thanks, Pledge. We'll see
Love
you, man.
Love you, Joe. Love you, Mike.
Yeah,
love you, brother.
Man. His show is also on YouTube as well if you subscribe to San Antonio Sports Star.
We do.
We're gonna go to listener comments now. So thank you. We have another $5 super chat coming in from Roman saying the Mavs are going local and have a glut of bigs. I'd make a play for a long term and swing for Lively. Dude, Lively's good, dude. Yeah. Lively's a really good player. That was an interesting thing over the weekend. We'll go back to more of the Spurs in a minute, but that trade that happened 24 hours before the De'Aaron Fox deal. Amazing. The Dallas Mavericks make the NBA Finals. They have a superstar, one of the 10 best players in the NBA, some would say top 5, who is in his prime, and they trade Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers. In return, they get Anthony Davis, right?
Why, though? You got to scratch your head and ask, why now would the Dallas Mavericks want to go ahead and trade Luka?
So I was listening to some reporters talk about this from The Athletic and The Ringer earlier this weekend, last night, my drive from Conroe to San Antonio. And they were talking about the relationship that the front office between the Mavericks and the Lakers have. It's no different than the Spurs with the Celtics. Do you ever notice that the Spurs do business with the Celtics a lot? It's because we have the front offices know each other.
Yeah.
The idea that you're going to open up a trade offer for Luka Doncic and not ask any of the other 28 teams in the league is weird. You don't knock on the Spurs door and go, what do you guys got? You don't knock on. They apparently just were enamored with Anthony Davis and they wanted the dude.
Yeah.
Now the thing about it is that Luka Doncic has missed a lot of time. Mark Cuban, who is now the minority owner of the Dallas Mavericks, was on Twitter the other day saying, "How is it that Luka Doncic didn't make the All-Star team? It's because he missed half the season, right?
He's always hurt.
Why is he always hurt? Because for NBA standards, he's a fat F.
He's got a dad bod, and the thing is, he doesn't seem to care about losing weight. He's got leg issues already, right? His knees are always bothering him. You can see that, especially when they get deeper into the playoffs. He's not very mobile. He's out there grimacing a lot. he needs to lose some weight. He's got the dad bod. He's not doing anything about that. And I think the Mavericks at the end of the day had to question his longevity and his durability, and also looking at, is his heart in it, man? Because he can only go so far with Luka.
This was like a Kawhi thing.
Yeah.
The Spurs would have wanted to have kept Kawhi, but in their heart of hearts, they would have been like, yeah, we'll pay you, but we're kind of afraid of it. I think they're looking at him like he's going to be Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
Zion Williamson, great when he plays, but the dude doesn't play 82 games. Why doesn't he play 82 games? Because he's too fat. He's too fat to do what he's doing, and he's too dangerous with his body.
Well, they say
Luka Doncic is known as being a big eater. He's known as being a big drinker. And because of that, he's always hurt. Dude, after the games,
remember he's drinking that beer?
Him drinking beer, they're telling him to put it away.
Doesn't that hit different now with Michael Finley pulling the beer away from him?
Yeah.
It
does. But at the same time, okay, you want to get rid of him.
Yeah.
That is the biggest name to be traded in the NBA in about 40 years, Joe.
Jeez.
In about 40 years.
But you know what? If it wasn't for that Luka trade, right? What the Spurs have been able to fleece the Kings and get De'Aaron Fox for what they did, I think the Luka trade set the tone.
I think it set the tone. I think the trade was going to happen anyway, but maybe they would have gotten 30 or 40 cents on the dollar as opposed to 10 cents on the dollar. That's basically it. The Spurs absolutely fleeced them. It is highway robbery. Joe, there are video game setups, the NBA 2K type of thing, where you put in a mock trade. You put these two trades in, Joe.
Yeah.
The machine doesn't even allow it.
No.
They're like, it's too lopsided. And for the Mavericks to say that they're afraid of the health of Luka Doncic, we'll take Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has always hurt himself.
Yeah.
The guy misses
he's the glass man.
I think 3 times in his career he's had 70 or more games played.
Yeah,
the guy misses 20 games a season every year.
And he's always hurt in the playoffs, right? When you need him the most, he folds. Kind of like Kawhi, right?
Yeah.
Kawhi will play 1 or 2 games in the playoffs, then he disappears.
By the way, the number of people watching right now is pretty good. Number of people. Hit the like button.
Yeah, please.
Do us a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Tell people that we're doing this show because, again, this is a great day as a Spurs fan because we're celebrating the fact that the Spurs got a star in De'Aaron Fox. Yeah. This is just one domino to fall, Joe. I think that the Spurs could get a first rounder for CP3.
I don't know. They could.
We got one for Jakob Poeltl. We got one for Thad Young.
What's the harm in asking? Right?
Well, right. But how about this? We didn't talk about this with Pledge. It's still going to be an uphill battle for the Spurs to make the play-in.
It is, man. They still have some issues as far as shooting and as far as a big.
Well, they got to get some wins. And we're going on a rodeo road trip where we're going to have like 10 out of 12 games on the road. There's a very good chance that we don't make the play-in tournament. In fact, if I had a bet on it, I'd say that we're not. Spurs fans don't want to hear that right now, so I'm kind of like, you're gonna
be the bearer of bad news.
I'm gonna let everyone, what is it? After someone has sex, the 5 minutes afterwards, post-coital glow. We're just sitting there going, "Oh, that was so wonderful! That was so amazing." We're gonna allow that for Spurs fans for today.
Look at this.
But tomorrow, I'm gonna mention the fact when the post-coital glow is gone. I'm gonna mention the fact that you do know that the Spurs have a cut line, right? If kind of like in golf, if you want to advance in golf, there's a certain cut line. Right now, the cut line is 500, right? So the Spurs are 21-25. That's 46 games into the season.
Yeah.
There's 36 games left. My math says they have to go 20-16 the rest of the way.
Look, Tavares wants to call in. Can we get
a call-in show? Oh my goodness, we've tried that before, but logistically we would need a second producer. To be honest with you,
well, I can do this, because I was looking at platforms, ways that we can get this done, and we can get it done.
Yeah,
and I just brought a new tablet for the studio, so we can actually have the call-in number, put it up there on the screen everybody and bring them in, so we could do that.
So let's see who's ahead of the Spurs right now. Spurs are 21-25, right? Golden State is ahead of them at 24-24.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Kings at 10, also at 24-24. What does that mean? Well, if the Kings got worse, you would think that they're going to start losing some games, right? Dallas is number 9. Maybe they start losing some games. So we need to see over the rodeo road trip if the Spurs can just play some 500 ball between now and then through the end of the rodeo road trip, kind of weather the storm before we come home, because the Spurs have played 25 home games and only 19 road games. Once we get back to even, and it's more home games for the Spurs, more home cooking, whether it's San Antonio or Austin, we need to weather the storm that's a rodeo road trip.
Yeah, I think if they can come out at 500 on the rodeo road trip, they're going to keep their play-in hopes alive. They can't absolutely go out there and lay an egg, given the talent that they have now on the team with De'Aaron Fox. This is right now. This is going to be the part of the season that's going to make or break it for the Spurs.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm going to address the super chat in a second, but let me just kind of finish the thought on this. Spurs fans, you have to understand that we're already 60% of the season in, right?
True.
And it's going to take a while for De'Aaron Fox to get to know the players, know the system, know the calls. Would I love for the Spurs to be better instantaneously? Yes. Am I expecting it? No. Would it be great? I hope to be wrong.
Let's give them 10, 12 games.
10, 12 games. Really, this is a play for next season, right? And I'm not saying to tank or anything like that. Go try to make the play-in tournament, right? Go try to make it. It's just difficult because of the point in the season with the rodeo road trip, 10 out of 12 games on the road. Then we go to Austin. You're not going to be in the Frost Bank Center forever. It's difficult for the Spurs to do that, but we don't even know he's never played with his team, right? He's never played with these guys. He may not even know many of them. So this is really a trade for next season. But if the Spurs make a run, like Coach Lou Brown on Major League, every time we win a game, we peel a section. If we get one of those things going on,
we take off a piece.
Oh, what if we get a return of Pop? Oh my God! Pop. We have no idea what Pop is doing right now. Reportedly getting better, but if he's still hooked up to IVs right after the trade, he's unplugging that crap.
It'd be funny. What if the Spurs finally break the 5-game in a row win streak? Right?
Yeah,
they've only won 4, right? And it doesn't seem like they can get up to 5 or 6. What if they get up to 5 or 6? Right? And Spurs fans are like, "Yeah, we're back, baby. We're gonna make the play-in." Coach Pop comes in and says, "Wait up there.
Wait up.
Hold my beer. I'm going to change the lineups."
So the Spurs play tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. We don't know if Wemby's going to play. Wemby missed the last game, but got some winnable games thereafter. You got Atlanta, who's reeling right now.
Yeah.
You got Charlotte, who's not a very good team. Later on, you've got Washington, but you've also got some good teams in the mix. You've got Orlando. You've got Boston. You've got Phoenix and Detroit. It's not until we get down the road. God, we've got Oklahoma City. We've got Memphis. We've got Houston. This is a tough stretch for the Spurs. I got Minnesota. This next month is going to be tough. For the Spurs to come back and make the play-in tournament, they'd have to catch lightning in a bottle, and De'Aaron Fox would need to be the truth early on. $20 super chat coming in from the Drew Show. Drew, thank you from the Woodlands. Coming on in, baby. I was just driving through the Woodlands yesterday. Says Rob Pelinka and Harrison are business partners back to Kobe and Nike. The Adelsons are tight with the Bus family because he was a gambler and they are casino owners. Collusion, fiduciary. So now Luka and LeBron will be the Jim brothers. It's interesting that you mentioned Pelinka and Harrison. And thank you so much, by the way, for the super chat. That keeps
Drew.
The show going, baby. Thank you so much for your support. Teams like doing business with teams that they're aware of, dude, that they're familiar with, right? Yeah. You're going to see that you have certain business partners. Oklahoma City has a business partner typically. The Rockets have their own team. Spurs, we do business with Indiana. We do business with Boston. And that's basically who our trading partners are, right? Sometimes Brooklyn. We've done business with Brooklyn and Toronto in the past as well. Why? Because Sean Marks and all of those guys, Ime Udoka, when he was with Boston, we have a certain familiarity with certain front offices. Like we know that they're not going to fleece us.
We got another $2 super chat coming in here from the Drew Show. Thank you, Drew.
If we'd have a real commission, he'd veto this trade. I mean, this really was 10 cents on the dollar. Joe, you know how we make fun of those people on Twitter, Spurs Twitter, who are like, here's what I want for De'Aaron Fox. Here's what we should do. Here's what we should do. We should trade Zach Collins because he sucks. We should trade Trey Jones, City Sissoko, and a bunch of second rounders. Give him maybe that 2031 first rounder. And we want to keep all of Atlanta's, and we want to keep the swaps, and we want to be able to keep Stephon Castle, and we want to be able to keep Sohan, right? And we look at that guy and go, you're an effing idiot. And that's exactly what happened. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what? That guy who did those posts on Twitter, which are so stupid.
Yeah.
He is so emboldened today. What's that old saying? Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah. Dude,
Dude, that guy was right today.
You had the AI merchant too out there trying to act like he's the Shams of San Antonio. I'm like, bro, calm the F down, dude.
Dude, is that guy real or not?
No,
Is
man.
AI?
It's ridiculous, dude.
It's funny.
And people believe the AI merchant of death. I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
But it's amazing. And the Spurs are going to have to tinker with lineups as well. I keep bringing up Chris Paul being traded because it's just one of those things where he's a tradable asset because he's not only a good veteran presence for a team in the playoffs, but it's also the fact that it's an expiring deal. Now, if you go to NBA Tankathon, again, the Spurs got rid of their protected pick from Charlotte, which was never going to happen. Those were going to be 2 second rounders when it was all said and done, because if it didn't convey this year, it was going to turn into second rounders. The Chicago pick was top 10 protected this year, top 8 protected in 26 and 27. That is now gone. That went back to Chicago. Great. So the Spurs have 2 first-round picks this year. We're going to have 2 anyway. As of right now, the Spurs are sitting at the 10 and 11 spot heading into the lottery.
Not a bad place to be.
What does that mean? That means that if you add up the odds, the Spurs have a 5% chance. Remember, when they got Wemby, it was only a 14% chance. We have a 5% chance of winning the number 1 overall pick, which would be Cooper Flagg. We now have, collectively between these 2 picks, a 23.3% chance of landing in the top 4. One of those picks in the top 4.
Can you imagine that, dude?
That's a 1 in 4 chance. If you want to know what a 1 in 4 chance is, that's like calling heads or tails on a coin and getting it right 2 times in a row. Because if you flip it 1 time, heads or tails, there's a 50% chance of being right. If you flip it again and you get it right again, that's a 25% chance. That is the chances that the Spurs have. It's like winning 2 coin flips in a row away from being in the top 4 again. $2 super chat comes in.
Coming in hot from
Who
Jason
gets cut?
Garcia.
Jason Garcia from the Pacific Northwest asking the question, who gets cut before the trade deadline? I don't think anyone's going to get cut.
Yeah.
The Spurs got rid of 3 players. We only brought in 2. And by the way, the Spurs need to talk about that, who the Spurs got in that trade, because it's interesting when you look at the fact that the Spurs got a second player as part of that trade. Bit of a sharpshooter. His name is Jordan McLaughlin. And I would be lying to you if I knew who this guy was.
Look at Redbird's Junkie says, guys, we got Jordan McLaughlin. He goes, Google who the F is
Jordan McLaughlin. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so Jordan McLaughlin is 6 foot. Nickname is J Mac or Little Mac, right? So I guess he's a bit of he's a short shooting guard is basically what he is. He was out of USC, 28 years old, from California. This year, averaging 2 points per game. For his career, 4.2 points per game. But the weird thing is, Joe, 3-point shooting for his career, 37%. He's got a little Dillingham in him, I guess. But I don't expect much of him. He's a throwaway piece. Although Pledge was excited because of his stats. But I look at it, 6-footer in the NBA these days.
Yeah.
Ain't going to happen, dude.
Look at this, man. I love that everybody's adopting this phrase now. It's all fine and dandy, but by Friday, Joe will be screaming, gone, till after roster.
Joe, am I wrong about bringing up the post-coital glow? Because all the Spurs fans right now are like kind of like all orgasmic and like, we're going to make the play-in and we're going to go for a playoff run. Probably not. But that's not a bad thing. We could still celebrate. Yeah. But let's just get the expectations to reality. And I'm not saying that I want the team to tank. I want them to go for it.
Yeah.
Make a run, But like the movie Glory, we brought it up. They're going up
around the corner.
They're going up the beach in Fort Sumner. They made their way. They've scaled the wall. They've scaled the wall.
We got it, guys.
They've scaled the wall. We got the trade. We got the second all-star on this team, right? We got a great point guard. We're running through. We're charging full steam ahead, waving the Spurs flag. And then we're going to turn the corner. The rodeo road trip's going to be there, and bam!
All the cannons pointed at you, man. Boom. This is funny though, because I watched Glory, right? They made us watch that when we were in school.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the hell are we watching? It was a historical video, right?
Yeah.
A movie, right? That they were putting in for us. And it's so funny, dude, because I mean, we're like you're talking about that iconic scene from the movie with Matthew Broderick of all people. I'm just like, God, man. If nobody's seen that movie, you got to watch it at least once.
It's a great with Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, Matthew Broderick, Andre Braugher, Carrie Ilwes.
Wasn't Lou Gossett Jr. in there too?
No, that was Morgan Freeman.
Oh yeah, it was Morgan Freeman.
It was Morgan Freeman. But now we're gonna get to see Luka Doncic play with LeBron James. That's gonna be an interesting sight because LeBron James is all about his health. Maybe that rubs off on him, right? And now, if you look at the fact that the Lakers got Luka Doncic, and think about the chronological thing, they went from, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and even before that, they had star players. They from Wilt Chamberlain to Kareem, and then they go to Magic, and then they go to Shaq, and they go to Kobe, and then they go to LeBron. Now they have Doncic. It's like just a continuation of that franchise.
Yeah.
The league is better when the Lakers are good. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
I just feel bad for the Lakers because what's happened with the Lakers now that they've gotten Luka Doncic is that they're losing something now on the defensive end. They had a presence in the paint with AD, even though he was injured a lot of times, but he did give them that inside presence in the paint. With him gone, it's just LeBron out there and a bunch of dudes, and you got Luka. Luka can shoot, but the thing is, Luka can't stay healthy, and he's out of shape, man.
He is, and that it's just so sad. It's just so sad. Sportsbook Nation, SB Nation, rather.
You showing it on screen?
No, it's okay. They're giving letter grades for the trades, and they give the Spurs a grade of an A- for it all. They give the Kings an A. It wasn't the worst trade for the Kings.
Yeah,
it really wasn't because they had no leverage at all whatsoever. So they gave them an A-, and they gave the Bulls a C-. All the Bulls were doing was unloading salaries. Like they're imploding themselves, right?
Yeah.
They got their own pick back. They're imploding themselves. They're going to tank the rest of the way. But for the Kings to get Zach LaVine, it's not bad, dude. It's not. And I know he didn't really do well with DeMar DeRozan in Chicago. They're reuniting in Sacramento. But still, you got a piece. You got a good player. Not of De'Aaron Fox's capability.
Yeah.
So we gave them 10 cents on the dollar, right? But honestly, they got about 75 cents on the dollar.
Have we forgotten that we are reuniting both, let's say, De'Aaron Fox and also Harrison Barnes?
And Harrison Barnes.
That's come full circle. They were in Sacramento together. Now they're going to be in San Antonio together.
I completely forgot about that. That's absolutely true. The Spurs probably not going to make the play-in tournament. Okay. I hope they do. I hope they go for it. I hope I'm wrong. Okay. But if I was just looking at the numbers, thinking to myself, okay, they've got 6 more road games than they do have home games.
Yeah.
And they got to play 600 ball the rest of the way. Math's not there for it.
Yeah.
Right. But we have something to be hopeful for. And now we're going to have De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, Wemby. We know those are the 3 starters.
Yeah.
The question became, who are the other 2? Castle, Vassell, CP3, Sohan, Champagny. We're gonna see lots of different lineups. And the Spurs, I know it's just one player, Joe, but if the Spurs right now are 4 games under 500, if they had De'Aaron Fox the entire season, the Spurs would be like a 4 seed right now. That's how good he is. That's how good of a pickup it was.
Yeah.
Lots of comments coming in. Tavares says Fox might have to have surgery. Don't want to hear it. Today, we're in post-coital glow, Tavares. Drew Show talking about how Sacramento reunites DeMar and Zach LaVine also.
That's true, man. I was looking and see what's going on the hot sheets, right? Seeing news that came through. And there's something that's being reported right now. It's interesting to me. Oh, I have Jeff on. Got to get Jeff off. I'm going to go ahead and take him off so we can go ahead and show this. So let's take him off there. And let's see if I can get his picture off. There we go.
What we got
that
going on?
off. And there we are. Brought it back.
Oh, yeah, Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett requesting a trade from the Browns after 8 seasons in Cleveland.
Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, so whenever you hear players bitch and complain about wanting to leave teams, right?
Yeah.
There's some players who should be told to shut up, and there's some players out there that just need to change the scenery.
Yeah.
And they've done their job. They've been a good employee. They've been a good player, good role model. That's De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox was in his 8th season there in Sacramento. Okay, he was there from age 19 to 27. He wants a new fresh start. He realizes that he's on a treadmill. He's moving, but he ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns are that way. Myles Garrett has done nothing but be a good employee and a great star for that team.
Reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
But he knows they're not going to go anywhere.
He knows, dude.
Deshaun Watson was trash, and then they had Jameis Winston go out there as quarterback, and Mr. Crab legs himself. He knows that that's not going to be a winning formula at all.
You think the Dallas Cowboys are looking at him, and Jerry's going to say, what, Mike? Pass.
Yeah, and Myles Garrett, if I'm not mistaken, went to Texas A&M, so pretty damn close to Dallas.
God.
Myles Garrett's going to have a ton of followers, a ton of suitors when it comes to it all.
I doubt the Dallas Cowboys would do the right thing and get him, dude.
I don't think the Cowboys have the money to if they're trying to pay Parsons and that they just paid CD and they have $60 million going to Dak.
Let's say you get rid of Parsons and you bring in Garrett.
There's going to be some team that's going to get him. That's going to be like already really good. Like the Eagles.
A contender.
The Eagles are going to somehow get him, right? And you're all going to be questioning who the heck is who the heck is going to get him. By the way, there's a Last Word Sports has an article right now talking about this, saying the 5 teams that have the best chances of getting him.
What is that?
At number 5, they have the Carolina Panthers, saying that they have an abysmal defense. They need some help on the defensive side of the ball. Number 4, they have the Falcons. Again, because another team with a young quarterback. The best offense is sometimes what? A good defense, right?
Yeah.
Number 3, they have the Commanders because they have $78 million in projected cap space. $78 million, Joe. They've got Jaden Daniels and $78 million in cap space. The Cowboys have Dak Prescott and no cap space. Number 2, the Bears. Saying that the Bears have a new defensive coordinator. And at number 1, they have the LA Chargers as being the best odds to go get it because Joey Bosa might not be on the team anymore.
Look at that. Jesse A says, send Bosa back to Ohio for Miles to the Chargers.
Hey, so last night, you were telling me last night when you and I were going back and forth, you were telling me that you were watching the Grammys.
It was bad, dude.
Dude, okay, I've always respected the Grammys. There's no way in the world Beyonce should win Best Country Album.
God, it was bad, dude. It was so bad. And then
I am so tired of her.
They had Will Smith up there kind of being an MC, I'm like, this is, I don't know, dude. It was a hot mess, and I did get to see some of the performers I did like. I like me some Teddy Swims.
Teddy
Sing
Swims
it,
is great.
Sing it, Teddy. Sing it, Teddy. Teddy.
Is it going to be like one hit wonder?
No.
It's going to be like Lose Control and Yes Todo. That's all.
No, bro. This brother can sing, man.
He can sing.
I've been following Teddy since he was on YouTube doing covers, right? And then to see him where he's at now and he's doing really well. He can sing. He's come out on a lot of talk shows.
Or is it going to be like Jelly Roll? Finally, he's going to get like a string of hits.
He has a string of hits right now. They've been playing his songs all over the radio.
Yeah, but Lose Control is the one that you always hear.
You hear that, but he has other hits that they've been playing as well. So I was like, get it, Teddy. Get it, Teddy. And then they had The Weeknd, come out. And I was like, all right, we can see The Weeknd, but the other performances were like, eh.
Yeah, Matt Gomez asking the question, did y'all see Kanye's chick on the red carpet?
God.
Okay, that is like, how was she not arrested?
That's
just walking naked.
That's basically not safe for work content.
Yeah, I'm not even going to show it.
Yeah.
Album of the year, Cowboy Carter by Beyonce, because of course, I hate Beyonce.
If she got the country album of the year or something like that, best country album
and
of
the
year.
best overall album of the year.
I'm just like
record
it was
of the
trash.
year, song of the year, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, so he won both of those Grammys there. Best new artist, Chappell Roan. She beat out Sabrina Carpenter and Benson Boone. Best rap album, I don't know how to pronounce this. Doechii.
Oh yeah, Doechii. Yeah.
Best pop vocal album, Sabrina Carpenter beat out Taylor Swift. Country album, Beyonce. Now here's the thing though, Beyonce and Post Malone. I know Post Malone sings country, but they should not be in the country album category. I'm a big fan of Deeper Well. That's a great album by Casey Musgraves that she did not win. Shakira won best Latin pop album.
Hey man, Shakira's still looking hot, bro.
Oh, she's amazing. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, their collaborative won best duo or best duet, if you will.
Yeah.
Lots of Kendrick Lamar winning all these awards right before
deserves
the
it,
Super
man.
Bowl.
Deserves it, dude.
Let's see here. Best rock performance, The Beatles. Shut the hell up.
They used AI on this album.
They use AI on this album. You know how bad rock music is these days?
How bad, man?
Here are the nominees.
All right, let's hear it, man.
The Beatles, right? An AI version of them
Yeah.
from a song that was not released 60 years ago. Green Day, Pearl Jam. We are in the year 2025, and we're seeing Green Day and Pearl Jam being nominated. Best metal performance, Joe. I didn't know how to pronounce his name. Gojira? But Judas Priest was nominated along with Metallica.
Jeez, bro.
Best rock song was Annie Clark, right? But you had Pearl Jam nominated, Green Day nominated, and you had the Black Keys nominated. Best rock album was the Rolling Stones, beating out Jack White of the White Stripes.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam beating out Green Day and the Black Crowes. The Black Crowes. Really? The Black Crowes. After that remake they had in the 90s.
A blast from the past, bro.
Dude, rock music sucks these days because rock music is just like Tejano. It died in 95. Actually, Tejano immediately died. Rock music died a miserable death. It spit out Linkin Park, and then it was flatline after that part.
Yeah. Did you see this? I just saw this right now. It's being reported by Don Harris, right? News 4.
Yeah.
He's saying Area 51 will remain Castle and Wemby. It says Darian Fox is going to wear number 2. So says Uniform Czar. Area 21 has a nice ring to it. Timmy D forever, he says.
I like it.
You know, he's going to be wearing, I guess the rumor is right now, Darian Fox will be wearing number 2, but it could actually change. We don't really know for sure, you know, but everybody's excited nonetheless because the last person to wear the deuce, the number 2, was nephew, Kawhi Leonard.
Sam Selena says, but Casey, man, Musgraves, though. Nugget. Black Bucket, welcome to the show. I don't recognize the name, but everyone welcome Black Bucket to the show. Says the Grammys sucked bad.
They did,
man.
Sad year for rock, no doubt, man.
Mario saying Shakira is his baby mama. I saw the Shakira episode of Hot Wings or Hot Ones. Yeah, she was struggling, dude. That's on Hulu.
Yeah,
she was struggling. They asked her some interesting questions, and they asked her one of the questions they asked her was, do you cringe at any of your music? And she was saying some of the hit songs like Hips Don't Lie, she cringes at. You see that the vocals that she was doing, she goes, what the hell was I doing? She was like, there's a little too much of that, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Let's give some love to MCS General Contracting. They've been with us since day one.
Yeah, let me go ahead and give them some
that
love.
rock hard concrete. Diamond hard concrete.
You know what I have to do now, dude? Because everything got messed up. I don't know why, but like the macro buttons I have on the Stream Deck, everything's whited out. I think an update went on, so I have to fix that after the show, but we'll get them some love manually here. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
That's right. I am a client myself. They did a sidewalk. It extended my patio. And in many ways, it strengthened the foundation of my house. They did a fantastic job. 210-774-9155. Let's give some love also to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. We're going to talk more Spurs on the flip side. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, your daily content of his Silver and Black.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Jeff just dropped his latest episode of Locked On Spurs. He has our good friend Rudy Campos Jr. on today, along with Matt Guzman. They're going to be talking about the De'Aaron Fox trade, the impact on the team, predicting the starting lineup, and whether or not the Spurs are going to make a run or have what it takes to go on and make the play-in tournament. Again, Locked On Spurs. Just follow Jeff Garcia at jeffgspurzone.com. Also, he's on Ken's 5 as well. Lots of reaction coming in. I saw this TikTok earlier today. Oh, by the way, there's an article right here where Sohan is saying bye to Zach Collins. Dude, don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out.
Yeah.
Dude. Sorry about that.
Bye. Good.
Also,
what did you say when you found out he got traded?
Right. And then also, De'Aaron Fox tweeted out a message to the Sacramento fans. He says, quote, "I can't quite find the words to express what I want to say, but thank you. Coming in as a 19-year-old kid and leaving as a 27-year-old man, I am grateful I got to spend the beginning of my young adulthood here. I love the city. The city is unmatched. To the fans, you all deserve the best. I wanted to end my career here and never expected it would end this way, but I'll always be grateful for your support. Thank you for all the love that you've showed me and my family. Sacramento will always hold a special place in my heart. De'Aaron Fox."
They said I keep pronouncing his name wrong. De'Aaron Fox.
Yes. It's like Aaron.
Yeah, I said De'Aaron Fox or something like that. But I like saying stuff like that because I like Francesca, right?
Yeah, my girlfriend Francesca.
What did you call her?
You call her Francesca?
Francesca.
That's funny. My dad does too.
She likes the name though.
She does.
Yeah.
Francesca Antoinette. Middle name. Let's talk about this real fast because I saw a TikTok earlier today, Joe, and it was a Sacramento Kings fan.
Okay.
And he has the jersey on, and he goes, "I'm from Sacramento, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Today I'm officially a Spurs fan." And he says, "I know that my team will never win anything or amount to anything. Good things don't happen to the Sacramento Kings."
God, man.
And he basically says, "I've been a De'Aaron Fox fan my entire life. I'm going to follow him to go play with Wemby." He goes, "I'm going to go." He goes, "Tell me when the De'Aaron Fox jersey comes out." He goes, "I want to be the first one in Sacramento to rock it because that's my guy.
Yeah.
That's my dog. That's my guy. And I want to see him succeed because I've cheered for him for 8 seasons. And now he gets to go play with Wemby. How great is that?" And to go to that culture. He was so supportive of the Spurs in all this. He goes, "We had 8 years. Couldn't get him done. Couldn't get anything done. I get it." He was like a very understanding Kings fan. He was upset.
Yeah.
But he goes, "I get it. You gave us the best that you had for 8 years. It was time for you to move on. Go spread your wings and learn to fly."
I feel bad for Kings fans. Even in the heyday when they had Vlade, they had Chris Webber, right? They had White Chocolate there, right?
Mm-hmm.
They still couldn't get it done. Remember that iconic game against the Lakers, dude? They were one game away.
Where the Kansas City Chiefs officials were there calling.
And what did they do? They left freaking Robert Horry wide open, dude.
Yeah.
The brother hits dagger 3.
Game
over.
Before that, when they had Vlade Divac and Sarunas Marcelonis,
Yeah.
Chris Mullin,
They had Peja.
what they call it, Run TMC.
Yeah. Remember they had
Chris
Peja?
Mullin, Peja.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had some good players, but the officials stole it from them. Let's just call it what it is, man.
Yeah.
The Lakers I mean, Shaq literally running through people.
And I remember
was
them
brutal.
showing the crowd, and you literally had some fans in shambles, dude. They were just unconsolable, upset, frustrated, crying. Hey, man, it was bad. But we have this headline that I'm going to show right now. This is the headline from the Dallas Morning News.
Luka was ours. Dude, that never would have happened if you know whose fault that is?
It's his own fault.
It's Mark Cuban's fault.
Well, it's Luka's fault too, because Luka just put on weight and didn't care.
Well,
Dude.
Mark Cuban had 100% control of the team. He sold 72% of it. He owns 27 and change
to that casino.
Yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna just trade our guys. Drew Show with a $5 super chat coming in.
Yeah, let's go ahead and show that.
He says, I want to hear Mike sing a few bars of Spread Your Wings with Queen. Do some karaoke night right now instead of the Grito, This Is My Wish. I don't know that song. At least it doesn't come to mind. Now, if you want me to sing a song called Spread Your Wings, that would be Mariah Carey. Remember? Spread your wings and prepare to fly. For you have become a butterfly. Oh, fly eternally into the sun. I remember that song.
Yeah.
Me and Mariah go back like babies and pacifiers. Ain't dirt dog no liar. Kicking
ODB.
fantasy hot like fire. I saw this one. Remember that song Ghetto Superstar? Praz and was it Maya? I saw this TikTok where they were talking about the making of that song, and that ODB was in the studio someplace, and they called him in. They're like, "Hey, you want to do a rap to this song?" And because if you listen to the song "Ghetto Superstar," he's singing nothing to the song. Like he's just doing his own thing. Like we're singing this song over here. You're singing something completely different, but we're just gonna put it all together. He goes, it makes no sense when he adds nothing to the song other than ODB just showed up on it. Redbird Junkie, Drew Show needs a refund. Damn straight. I need some bourbon in me first before I go out there and sing.
God.
So a friend asked me the other day, my friend Mike called me, and he was like, what's the best STP song?
Plush?
See, that's the song that everyone's going to say, and it's probably true. But we take Plush out of the mix. What are the contenders? I would say Creep, Tripping on a Hole in a Paper Heart, Interstate Love Song, Down, Dead and Bloated, Wicked Garden. They had a lot of hits, man. Yeah. Everyone's going to say Plush because everyone knows that song.
I think
it won a Grammy, by the way, for Best Rock Album.
And I think they have that iconic moment with Scott Weiland, right? At MTV's infamous Unplugged sessions. He did a hell of a job, dude.
He was high off his ass.
Yeah.
Chris Gonzalez, y'all remember when ODB cashed his welfare check with the MTV camera?
We forget all the kind of crap that's happened, dude, over at MTV back in the day. It was hilarious.
That was amazing.
Remember they used to have was it Pimp My Ride and was it Cribs? Welcome to my crib,
Remember when Punk'd first came out?
Oh, God, with Ashton Kutcher.
When Ashton Kutcher punked Justin Timberlake.
And they even did Shaquille O'Neal and all these other celebrities.
Dude, YouTube Justin Timberlake on Punk'd. It's the funniest, most cringy thing ever. I almost want to cry, and for many reasons. But he had his cars being repossessed, and he had people saying that they were from the IRS coming to take his house, kind of like what ended up being Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
Right? Like they were going to go take over his house, so they were going to repossess his cars and all that stuff. And Justin Timberlake calls his mom.
I remember that, dude.
He's like, Mom, they're taking my stuff. Oh, Black Bucket saying Still Remains. Oh, my God. That is a deep cut of STP. Man, that's a good song. Are we going to go? That Still Remains. What's it called? Our beds we live, our bed we sleep, making love and I become you. Just warm with naked feet. I remember that song, dude. That is a great song.
Look at Redbird's Junkie. He says STP is on his Mount Rushmore.
Dude, I'm telling you, it is, man.
Hey, man, he's not lying here, dude. Interstate Love Song is a good one,
too. Dude, Interstate Love Song is amazing. I had an ex-girlfriend in high school who got me into STP. That's like the one who first got me into the band. But really in college, I listened to them daily. But the deep cuts are really good, man. I mean, you can listen to the core album, whether it be Naked Sunday or Piece of Pie, Where the River Goes. You can listen to the deep cuts at the end of the album, and they're just as good as Dead and Bloated and Wicked Garden and stuff like that. Shangri-La Da is an incredible album. For those of you who like the Beatles and you want to hear what SCP would sound like if they were trying to mimic the Beatles, that's what that is, man. He took my dog. You know what was a good song? Scott, go on to Spotify or YouTube, and there's an album that's a solo album of Scott Weiland. I don't know if you knew that. It's called 12 Bar Blues.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
And he has some really good songs. Cool Kiss is my favorite solo song of his.
Okay.
And don't forget, he was also amazing in Velvet Revolver.
That was a
Contraband album was great.
That was a great band, Velvet Revolver. I think they had one of the what was it, the bassist no, they had Slash in there, right?
They had Slash. It was Guns N' Roses,
and then they had
Scott Weiland.
One of the guys from what was it called, Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah,
well, he was on there as well on the band. I thought.
Yeah, it was the drummer and guitarist. It was Slash and the drummer, right? From Guns N' Roses, and it was the bassist from Rage.
From Rage, yeah.
And then they played at what used to be the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater.
Oh, over there by Retama.
They opened up for Aerosmith.
I remember that back in the day.
I was offered tickets to that, but my ex-wife poo-pooed it because it was one of the girls at the apartment complex that we lived at that oh my god, we're gonna go deep into tall tale category.
Oh god.
But she was like, you can't go with her. She was saying, I'm going with some friends. I know he's a big STP fan. We have an extra ticket. And she's like, she's gonna hit on you. No, don't. Dude, months later, she did hit on me.
No, Lord.
So my ex was absolutely correct.
Tall tale time.
Nah. Jesse A saying Tom Morello had Audioslave. Audioslave had Tom Morello, rather. It's great.
You took my dog was the best line. Oh god.
And So I Know is a good song too. STP's greatest song, according to Sam Salinas, is Big Bang Baby. Has the best video. I wanna cry, but I gotta laugh. Jason Garcia, I thought I heard Mike say that his high school girlfriend gave him an STD.
Tall tale time, Mike. Come on.
Big Bang Baby, it's a crash, crash, crash.
Jimenez got a girlfriend that got into. Audio Slave had Tom Morello.
Yeah,
there you go.
Tom Morello was the best person to be on Guitar Hero back in the day, and that's how back in the day. If you look at people right now who are their 20s, mid to late 20s, they really got into Guitar Hero about 15 years ago. That was a big deal, man.
Yeah.
Before Dance Revolution became a thing.
Damn, man.
And they listened to a lot of rock music. That's how they got. That's how they got used to Rage Against the Machine and STP and Pearl Jam and all that stuff.
I never realized how much a lot of our listeners here really do love Stone Temple Pilots, STP.
I have to karaoke that soon.
Yeah, you know what else?
We moved the date, by the way, to the 22nd, and that's going to be an official date. You know how I know it's an official date? Because I have Francesca is going to be there. She's bringing her friends.
Are they any of them single?
They're all single.
All right.
They're all coming over, and we're going to make it a night.
Tell her to pick one or two out for Joe.
Dude.
Hey, another band that was good, low key, that I used to like. I still like them. Buck Cherry, dude.
Oh, nice. Did they sing something, bitch?
She's a crazy bitch.
Crazy bitch.
And then they had a performance a while back. I believe they were here at Oyster Bake way back when.
Yeah.
I just remember that day. It was, of course, hot as hell, humid. And then they had like fireworks or something afterwards, like they always do at the Oyster Bake. But man, it was just so hot that day, dude. So
people are asking the question right now. Renee asking, what's up with Mike Saint's officials? Man, I'm just learning about this. I haven't really dug deep into this. This all came to light this weekend, this morning, actually. According to Fox Sports, and James Pledger was alluding to this earlier, says when New Orleans church leaders prepared to publish a list of predatory Catholic priests, They turned to the New Orleans Saints. The Bills orchestrated some sort of cover-up, and that the emails showed that the executives played a more extensive role than previously known to mitigate the fallout from the clergy abuse scandal. It was interesting. I was talking about that with my girlfriend and her family the other day. We were talking about like what happened with the church, because we were going off on like various, you have the televangelist, right? And we go to church. I go with my girlfriend to church most Sundays, and some churches that are just kind of like wacky. And we were talking about all the scandals that have happened in all the different religions. There's been Mormon scandals, there have been Jewish scandals, there have been Muslim scandals, there have been Catholic scandals. And we're talking about the fact that the movie Spotlight showed that 1 in 16 priests is believed to have been some sort of child molester at some point. 1 in 16. 1 in 16,
dude.
And it's not only the ones that did it, it was the ones who covered it up. And they turned to corporations, and apparently they turned to the Saints for that. I'll read up more about it. I don't have an opinion yet because I don't know much about it yet. But I did see the headlines.
Look at this. It's coming in here, dude. They have an announcement by NBA Communications. They're just saying 3 minutes ago, Tim Hardaway Sr., Jeremy Lin, Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond have been named, should I say, honorary head coaches for the Castro Rising Stars game. So,
dude, the NBA All-Star Weekend, which typically sucks, is going to have a big-time Spurs feel to it.
It is, dude.
Because
you have Wemby.
Yeah, Wemby is an all-star. You have Castle going to be in the Rookie Challenge.
I think they're going to both be in the Rising Stars.
The Rising Stars Challenge. Yeah. Chris Paul's going to be in one of the events.
That's a lot of Spurs, man. Considering in years past, you had one Spur being announced, to, I don't know, was coming off the bench as a reserve, or you had, let's say, Tony Parker, or was it back in the day? Was Tony Parker, and who else was it? Oh, Becky Hammond. That came out in the skills challenge,
And did you see this? You want to show my screen? Our girl Kelsey Plum, former San Antonio Silver Star, rocking the LA Sparks jersey. She was part of a blockbuster trade in the WNBA. WNBA also had its blockbuster trade. Kelsey Plum, former San Antonio Silver Star, also TikTok famous, Instagram reel famous for that throw that she had when she threw the at the Spurs game, the T-shirt into the crowd, and it went like almost upper deck. Dude. She threw like 60 yards.
Has a cannon for an arm, dude. She didn't even need that little air cannon. She's like, don't worry, I got this.
I not safe for work, but apparently that's her. I was not expecting that.
Cochino Demon Time Mike.
I wasn't trying to be Cochino Mike. It just happened. But there's Kelsey Plum right there in her LA Sparks jersey. Fantastic. She's playing with what's that girl's name? That blonde girl's name? That tall girl that was drafted last season. She was really popular.
No, probably because she's smoking hot. That's why.
Well, I mean, she's actually really good too.
But I'm just saying.
Spurs back in action tonight. We'll find out if De'Aaron Fox will play. We'll find out if Wemby plays, because Wemby missed the last game, but hopefully he'll be fine. Sohan, go get a rebound. He's playing pretty good defensively, man, but go get a rebound. We need more than just stops. We need some boards. But everyone have a fantastic day today. The Spurs got themselves that second star that they needed. We've gone from being irrelevant without Wemby to becoming like we're back on the map, to now we are a tough team to play at some point.
Yeah.
Hey, give me a call. 210-508-0369. That's my cell phone number, 210-508-0369. I'm a financial advisor. I handle people's retirement accounts, investments, insurances, things like life insurance, disability, long-term care. Tinkering with the idea, Joe, of opening up an auto insurance agency this year. In fact, I'm probably going to get it going this week or so. Start it up, baby. I just like getting business. That's just what I do. There are some people I want to get into business with, man, and I'm gonna reach out to them, see if they have any interest.
Hey, I have an idea for a business. Remember, I was telling them. I think I told Leha too, and I said we need to do like a barber shop, right?
Yeah,
kind of like Knockouts.
Yeah,
but it's for Latinos, and you need to have like some nice looking women there cutting hair and everything. Little skimpy outfits, and you call it Papi Chulos.
Papi Chulos.
Can you imagine if it's mobile?
Yeah.
You can go around town,
I have this old joke back in San Antonio Sports Star days where it's like, Yeah, Hooters isn't popular in San Antonio because we're more about nalgas.
God, dude. Instead of, was it Ojos Locos, call it nalgas. What
Oh
the
yeah,
hell?
Chris Gonzalez brings up Cameron Brink. That's who we were thinking about. Cameron
No, it
Brink
was
and Kelsey
Brink.
Plum on the
Yeah.
same team. Everyone have a fantastic day, man. It's a great day to be a Spurs fan. Do me a favor, hit the like button on the way out, and also retweet this, man. Go on there, find our show, copy it, put it on Twitter, put it on your Facebook page. We want people to subscribe and like what we do. This is a fun show to be part of. Thank you so much to all the listeners, all the super chats that came in from Jason and Tex McFrank and Drew show. Thank you all so much. Thank you to James Pledger, San Antonio Sports Star. His show 6 to 7 extra innings on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Everyone have a fantastic day, and we will be back tomorrow.
See you, boys.